Every morning, as the light of day begins to touch the world, we are given something extraordinary, an opportunity to start anew. It may not always feel that way when we rise from our beds, when the concerns of yesterday echo in our minds, or when the anxieties of tomorrow seem to loom before we've even stepped out the door. But the truth is simple and profound. Each morning is the architect's table upon which the blueprint of your life is drawn. How you train your mind in those early hours will determine not just the quality of your day, but the quality of your life. Most people stumble into the morning with no thought, no preparation, no plan. They allow circumstances to dictate their state rather than dictating to circumstances. That is why one man rises to greatness while another falters in mediocrity. The difference is not in the hours they are given, for both receive the same 24. The difference lies in the first thoughts they allow to take root when the day begins. Consider this. Your mind is like a fertile field, and every morning you hold the seed bag in your hand. If you scatter weeds, weeds will grow. If you sow strong and noble seeds, a harvest of success must follow. This is not a matter of superstition or wishful thinking. It is law as unchanging as gravity itself. You become what you think about. Say it out loud to yourself. I become what I think about. Write it down, let it sink in, ingrain it upon your consciousness until it is no longer an idea but a lived reality. Every invention, every fortune, every empire ever built began with thought. And so too does every failure, every misery, every wasted life. The mind does not choose sides. It will bring forth weeds with the same diligence that it brings forth wheat. What matters is the gardener's discipline. The gardener is you. That is why I tell you, do not leave the morning to chance. Do not awaken only to check the noise of the world, the endless stream of distraction that clamors for your attention. Awaken instead with intention. Ask yourself, what will I sow today? If your answer is resentment, bitterness, or doubt, then your harvest is already lost. If your answer is courage, clarity, and discipline, then your victory is already won in seed form. A farmer does not question whether his planted crop will grow. He knows it must, provided he tends it faithfully. The human mind is no different. The first moments of each morning are the watering of that soil, the decisive moment when you either set the direction of the day or drift like a rudderless ship. Think about a ship leaving harbor. Its captain has studied the charts, set the course, and issued the orders. The engines are engaged, the compass fixed. That ship does not drift, it knows precisely where it is going. Contrast that with a vessel left untended. No captain, no course, no map. It is at the mercy of wind and tide, pushed to and fro until it inevitably wrecks upon the rocks. Most men and women live their mornings as if they are that untended ship. And the tragedy is that the wreck does not happen all at once. It happens slowly, gradually, through years of untrained mornings, of careless thoughts, until the sum of their days reveals the ruin. To avoid this fate, you must choose to be the captain of your soul from the moment you rise. You must take the helm at dawn. One of the most powerful habits you can form is the practice of morning declarations. These are not idle words. They are anchors that train the subconscious mind, the hidden engine that governs so much of our behavior. When you awaken, before the noise of the world fills your mind, declare who you are and who you are becoming. If your mind is a field, these words are seeds planted deep in the soil. You might say, I am one with wealth and wisdom, free of fear and doubt. Speak it slowly, write it clearly, and hold it as truth. Do this every morning, and soon your subconscious will begin to align your thoughts, choices, and actions with the declaration. This is not magic, it is discipline. It is the conscious training of thought to create a life aligned with your vision. But some will ask, what if I don't believe it yet? What if I feel poor, fearful, or confused when I say these words? That is precisely why you must say them. You do not speak because you already see the harvest. You speak because you are sowing the seed. Faith is the bridge between the seed and the harvest. The man who waits until he feels successful to declare success will never speak because the feeling never comes first. It is the action of belief, repeated daily, that eventually births the reality. This is why so many fail. They wait for proof before they plant. But life does not work that way. The law is this: sow first, reap later. Believe first, see later. Act first, feel later. Write that down, carry it with you, and begin practicing it tomorrow morning when the sun rises again. Now let me give you a principle that can shape not only your mornings but your entire destiny. Success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal. Notice that it does not say success is the sudden arrival at a destination or the possession of some outward treasure. Success is progressive. It is realized step by step, day by day, morning by morning. When you rise with a clear goal in mind, when you align your thoughts with it, when you declare your identity in harmony with it, you are successful in that moment. Even if the full harvest has not yet come, you are already walking the path. This understanding frees you from discouragement, for you no longer measure your life by what you lack, but by the seeds you faithfully sow each dawn. The world will often tell you to begin your day by reacting, checking your messages, responding to the demands of others, absorbing the news. But let me remind you, no one can steer two ships at once. Either you are at the helm or the world is. Either you choose your first thoughts, or they are chosen for you. And what is chosen for you is rarely what will build your success. Success demands solitude of thought, even if for a few minutes. It demands the quiet space in which you can train the mind as deliberately as a blacksmith shapes steel. Each blow of the hammer matters. Each word spoken aloud matters. Each declaration written on the page matters. Do this every morning, and over time you will find yourself transformed, not by accident, but by design. So as we continue, remember that your mornings are not trivial, they are sacred. They are the turning point of every day, the forge of your destiny. Train your mind each morning with discipline, with clarity, with faith. Plant the seeds of success before the noise of the world scatters weeds upon your soil. Choose to declare with confidence and conviction, I am one with wealth and wisdom, free of fear and doubt. Let those words be the first fruit of your morning, the foundation upon which your day is built. Say them now, write them down, repeat them tomorrow, and let them grow into the reality you seek. The law is clear, we become what we think about, and every morning you have the power to decide exactly what that will be. There is another principle we must ingrain into your mind if you are to train it for success each morning, and that principle is order. The mind, like any workshop, must be kept in order if it is to produce valuable work. When you wake in the morning, you are faced with a choice: to allow the chaos of random thoughts to scatter your attention, or to deliberately arrange your thoughts like tools upon a bench, ready to be used with precision. Success is not born out of confusion, it is born out of clarity. If your first hour is cluttered with distractions, half-formed worries, and the residue of yesterday's troubles, you will carry that disorder with you throughout the day. But if you begin with order by establishing a routine, a sequence of purposeful actions, you set your entire day in alignment with your highest aims. Remember, the first thing you do each morning is not trivial. It is the cornerstone upon which all else rests. Think of a pilot preparing his airplane for flight. He does not simply board the plane and hope for the best. He follows a checklist. Every instrument is checked, every system tested, every measure accounted for. Without that order, disaster would be inevitable. And yet, how many people begin their day with no checklist for the mind, no order for their thoughts, no preparation for the journey? They rise in haste, they rush out the door, and then they wonder why their day crashes into failure. You must learn from the pilot. Have your checklist ready each morning. A few moments of silence, a written declaration, a clear vision for the day. These are the instruments of success, and you must learn to use them with the same discipline as the aviator. Order also extends to your environment. If your room, your desk, your home is in disarray, your mind will mirror that confusion. Begin the morning by establishing physical order. Make your bed, clear your space, put things in their place. This simple act sends a signal to your subconscious that you are in control, that you are capable of directing not only your thoughts but your surroundings. Great generals have always understood this principle. An army that cannot maintain order in its camp cannot hope to win on the battlefield. Likewise, a man who cannot establish order in his immediate environment cannot expect order in his finances, his relationships, or his ambitions. The external world reflects the internal state, and both must be trained together each morning. But more than order in the external world, you must establish order in your priorities. Each day, decide what truly matters and what does not. Write down your top 3 tasks or intentions for the day, no more, no less. Do not scatter your energy across dozens of trivialities. Focus instead on the few things that move you closer to your worthy goal. If success is the progressive realization of a worthy goal, then the morning is the moment you decide what progress you will make today. Without that decision, you will be pulled in every direction, reacting to the demands of others, mistaking busyness for progress. Order your priorities and you will find power in simplicity. There is a law I would have you speak aloud and write upon your paper. I live in order, clarity, and purpose. My mind is focused, my path is clear, my actions are aligned. Say it now, slowly and deliberately. Write it as though carving it into stone. Each repetition drives it deeper into the subconscious until it becomes instinct. When the world tries to distract you, when circumstances threaten to scatter your thoughts, this declaration will anchor you. You will return to it, and it will remind you that you are in control of your life, because you are in control of your mind. Now let us look at what happens when you fail to establish order. The man who neglects this discipline begins his day in reaction. He answers the phone before he has answered his own purpose. He scrolls through headlines before he has written his own intentions. He allows the noise of the world to flood his mind before he has taken a moment of silence. And so he is carried away, tossed by the waves of circumstance, never steering his own course. Such a man may be busy, but he is not effective. He may be active, but he is not progressing. The difference between the man of success and the man of failure is not always intelligence or opportunity. Often it is simply that one established order at the start of each day, and the other did not. If you would make your mornings into a fortress of strength, then commit yourself to order. Create a ritual so strong that it becomes unbreakable. Rise at the same hour each day. Write your declaration, speak your affirmation, order your environment, decide your priorities. Do this consistently, and you will discover a peace that others lack, a sense of control that cannot be shaken by external events. You will no longer drift. You will no longer stumble into the day. You will march into it with certainty, like a soldier trained for victory. And over time, the cumulative effect of these ordered mornings will manifest as a life of remarkable achievement. The law is clear: what you do repeatedly becomes who you are. If you repeatedly train your mind in chaos, you will live in chaos. If you repeatedly train your mind in order, you will live in order. This is why the morning is so vital. It is the daily training ground upon which character is forged. And character, more than circumstance, determines destiny. You need not master the world today. You need only master your morning, and the world will begin to align itself with your discipline. So tomorrow when you awaken, do not leave the order of your morning to chance. Begin with clarity. Begin with silence. Begin with a declaration of who you are and who you intend to become. Write it, speak it, live it. Establish order in your environment, order in your mind, and order in your priorities. Then go forth into the day as a man or woman of clarity, calm, and certainty. And remember the declaration: I live in order, clarity, and purpose. My mind is focused, my path is clear, my actions are aligned. This is not mere poetry, this is law. Obey it, and you will find that success begins each morning and flows into every hour of your life. If order is the foundation upon which success is built, then discipline is the mortar that holds every brick of your life in place. Without discipline, the best intentions dissolve into nothingness, the finest goals remain unfulfilled, and the clearest visions fade into dreams that never see the light of day. Discipline is the bridge between thought and reality. Every morning as you awaken, you are faced with a choice: to govern yourself or to be governed by habit, impulse, and distraction. Most men and women yield to the latter. They allow the body to dictate to the mind rather than the mind commanding the body. They linger in bed, they reach for their distractions, they stumble into the day half asleep. And because they lack discipline in the morning, they lack discipline in life. The one who masters his mornings with discipline will eventually master his destiny. Discipline is not a punishment, it is not a burden, it is the highest form of freedom. Consider the athlete who rises early to train while others sleep. He does not view his discipline as a chain, but as wings. It lifts him above the crowd, gives him strength that others do not have, and prepares him for victories they will never taste. Discipline in the morning is the same. It is the quiet training of the self when no one is watching. It is the decision to rise at the hour you have set, to practice your rituals with consistency, to declare your affirmations even when you do not feel like it. In these moments, you forge a strength of character that will carry you through every trial the day brings. The lack of discipline is visible everywhere. It is seen in the hurried faces of those who rush without preparation. It is heard in the excuses of those who say they will begin tomorrow, next week, or when circumstances improve. It is felt in the lives of those who constantly start but never finish, who dream but never do. And the cause is always the same. They did not discipline themselves in the small things, and so they could not succeed in the great things. If a man cannot discipline himself to rise in the morning and order his mind, how can he expect to command the respect of others, to build wealth, to lead, to endure? Discipline begins with the little acts, and the morning is the testing ground of all. I urge you to take this practice seriously. Set an alarm for the same hour each day, and do not negotiate with yourself when it rings. Rise immediately with purpose. Stand tall, take a deep breath, and remember the law. The one who conquers himself need not fear being conquered by others. Every morning is a battle between the higher self and the lower self. The lower self whispers for comfort, for delay, for ease. The higher self commands action, clarity, and strength. Which voice you obey will determine not only your day but your destiny. Speak it aloud with me now. I conquer myself each morning. Discipline is my strength, persistence is my path, and victory is my reward. Write it down. Repeat it until it becomes instinct. For when discipline becomes instinct, you are unstoppable. Discipline is not limited to rising on time. It must touch every aspect of your morning ritual. Discipline yourself to silence before noise. Discipline yourself to write your affirmations before you read the world's distractions. Discipline yourself to clarity before confusion. This is not about denying yourself pleasure. It is about placing first things first. The man of discipline enjoys greater freedom because he is not enslaved by impulse. He does not drift. He does not waver. He does not waste. He knows that every choice either strengthens or weakens the will, and he chooses strength. The disciplined person does not merely react to life. He creates it. He does not wait for motivation. He acts, and motivation follows. The world is full of men waiting for inspiration, waiting for the right moment, waiting for a sign. They wait their entire lives and leave the stage empty-handed. But the disciplined man creates his own moment every morning. He does not wait for the day to favor him. He decides to favor the day. He rises, trains his mind, sets his intention, and marches forward. And because he disciplines himself, he gradually rises above the masses who are slaves to circumstance. Some may say discipline is difficult, that it demands too much, but reflect on this truth. The pain of discipline is measured in minutes. The pain of regret is measured in a lifetime. The man who disciplines himself in the morning may endure a moment of discomfort when he denies himself the luxury of lingering in bed, but that discomfort vanishes quickly, replaced by pride, clarity, and strength. The man who refuses discipline enjoys temporary ease but carries the weight of regret as the years pass and his potential remains unfulfilled. Which burden would you rather carry? The light burden of discipline or the crushing burden of regret? Discipline also builds momentum. The first act of discipline in the morning makes the second act easier, the third easier still, until the day is carried forward on the strength of that momentum. The reverse is also true. The first act of laziness weakens the second, the third, and soon the entire day collapses under its own inertia. That is why you must win the first battle at dawn. If you rise when you said you would, if you practice your rituals as you promised, if you declare your affirmations with conviction, then you have already won. The rest of the day unfolds in the shadow of that victory. So let us ingrain this law into your mind. I conquer myself each morning. Discipline is my strength, persistence is my path, and victory is my reward. Say it, write it, repeat it. Carry it with you as armor. With discipline, no obstacle can defeat you. Without it, no talent can save you. Discipline is the difference between the man who dreams and the man who achieves. It is the key that unlocks the power of your mornings, the force that transforms intention into reality. Begin tomorrow with discipline, and you will find that success itself begins to yield to you, for you will have mastered the first and greatest victory, the victory over self. Discipline gives birth to another essential element of a successful morning, and that is focus. Without focus, even the most disciplined effort is scattered like sunlight through a window pane, bright but unfocused, unable to burn. Focus is the magnifying glass that concentrates the rays of your mind into a fire that can forge results. Every morning you must decide what to focus on because your mind will focus on something whether you guide it or not. If you do not train it to concentrate on what matters, it will wander to what doesn't. A scattered mind is a weak mind, but a focused mind is unstoppable. Think of the archer. His discipline brings him to the field. His strength draws the bowstring, but it is his focus that aims the arrow. Without focus, his effort is wasted, no matter how strong or disciplined he may be. The same is true of your mornings. Focus begins with clarity of your goal. You cannot concentrate on what you have not defined. Each morning, ask yourself, what is my target today? Do not mistake a vague desire for a clear goal. To wish for success is like shooting an arrow into the fog. You may release energy, but you will never hit the mark. Write down one clear aim for your day, one task that if accomplished would move you closer to your worthy ideal. Hold that aim before your mind like a captain holds the compass, checking it again and again to ensure the ship does not drift. This is how you train your mind to focus, by directing it toward a single worthy aim. But focus requires more than knowing what to pursue. It requires knowing what to ignore. A man who attempts to chase 10 hares catches none. Most people live in constant distraction, pulled by notifications, interruptions, and trivial pursuits that sap their strength. The man of focus does not scatter himself. He rises each morning and decides in advance what he will give his attention to and what he will deny. He knows that to focus is to say yes to one thing and no to 1,000 others. Without that deliberate denial, his discipline is wasted. So he orders his priorities, fixes his gaze, and marches forward, ignoring the noise. That is the power of focus, and it begins in the morning when you set the target. Focus also thrives on visualization. After you have written your daily aim, take a few moments to picture it clearly in your mind. Imagine yourself completing the task, speaking the words, making the call, finishing the project. Feel the confidence, the satisfaction, the momentum. This practice impresses the subconscious with the image of success, making it far more likely that your actions will align with that vision. Athletes do this before competition. Soldiers do it before battle. Leaders do it before speaking. They see it first in the mind before it becomes reality in the world. Each morning, you too must practice this discipline. Visualize your day as you want it to unfold, not as you fear it might. And when distractions inevitably arise, as they always do, return to your declaration. Let us craft one for focus. Say it aloud with me. My mind is sharp, my aim is clear, my focus is unwavering. I direct my thoughts, I direct my actions, and I direct my results. Write these words in your journal. Speak them as often as needed. When the phone calls, when the noise surrounds you, when the temptations beckon, repeat the declaration and bring your mind back to the target. You will find that what once pulled you off course will gradually lose its power, for a focused mind cannot be easily swayed. But focus does not mean rigidity. It is not the refusal to adapt. True focus is flexible strength. Consider the river. It is focused always on the sea, yet it bends around rocks, flows through valleys, and changes course when necessary. Its focus is not broken by obstacles, it is strengthened by them. So it must be with you. When your morning plan is disrupted, do not despair. Adjust, bend, adapt, but never lose sight of your greater aim. Always return to the compass. Always return to the vision. Focus is not about perfection, it is about persistence. The man who trains his mind to focus each morning becomes dangerous in the best sense of the word. Dangerous to mediocrity, dangerous to distraction, dangerous to failure. He accomplishes in one focused hour what others waste in a day. He builds momentum that multiplies over weeks, months, and years until he has achieved what once seemed impossible. All because he learned to begin his day with focus, to hold one aim before his mind, and to give it his full attention until it was done. Understand this: your mind cannot hold two dominant thoughts at once. It will serve one and neglect the other. If you allow worry to dominate, confidence will wither. If you allow doubt to dominate, faith will falter. But if you choose to dominate your mind with focus on your goal, then fear and doubt are cast out. You cannot serve both success and failure in the same moment. Choose success by choosing focus, and you will discover a strength greater than talent, greater than luck, greater even than intelligence, the strength of unwavering concentration. So tomorrow, when you awaken, after you have ordered your environment and declared your discipline, set your focus, write your target, visualize it, declare it, say aloud, my mind is sharp, my aim is clear, my focus is unwavering. I direct my thoughts, I direct my actions, and I direct my results. Carry this law into your day, and you will find that success is not a distant dream, but the natural consequence of focus. The man who begins his day with focus will end it with progress. And the one who repeats this habit morning after morning will, in time, hold in his hands the life he once held only in his imagination. Focus, once trained, opens the door to another indispensable law of the morning: gratitude. Gratitude is the power that transforms ordinary days into extraordinary blessings. It shifts your mind from scarcity to abundance, from complaint to opportunity, from weakness to strength. Every morning you must decide whether you will view the day as a burden to endure or a gift to embrace. Gratitude is the lens through which the world takes on its true richness. Without it, even the most fortunate life feels poor. With it, even the smallest blessing becomes a treasure. And the best time to cultivate gratitude is in the morning, when the slate of the day is still clean, when the mind is most impressionable, and when your heart can be trained to beat with appreciation before the world presses its weight upon you. Why does gratitude matter in the pursuit of success? Because gratitude creates expansion. When you are grateful, you place your attention on what you have, and what you have grows. When you are ungrateful, you place your attention on what you lack, and lack multiplies. This is law. The human mind magnifies whatever it dwells upon. If you rise each morning rehearsing your problems, you will carry them with you all day. But if you rise rehearsing your blessings, you will discover opportunities and solutions you would otherwise have missed. Gratitude clears the fog of discontent and reveals the path forward. It is not denial of difficulty, it is the refusal to let difficulty blind you to possibility. Begin this practice simply. Each morning, before you write your declarations of identity and focus, take a few minutes to list 3 things you are grateful for. They need not be grand or dramatic. A healthy body, a roof over your head, the chance to rise again and shape your life, these are miracles too often taken for granted. Write them down, feel them deeply, and speak them aloud. Let gratitude fill your heart until it lifts your spirit. This is not just a pleasant exercise. It is training the subconscious mind to expect good, to recognize abundance, and to attract more of it into your life. The man who trains himself to be grateful in the morning walks through the day with a light that others notice. He becomes magnetic, not because of what he demands, but because of the abundance he already embodies. Gratitude also destroys fear. You cannot be truly grateful and deeply afraid in the same moment. One displaces the other. Fear is rooted in the anticipation of loss, while gratitude is rooted in the recognition of gain. When you focus on what you have and give thanks for it, the grip of fear weakens. This is why gratitude is not just a moral virtue, but a practical tool of power. It calms the mind, strengthens the heart, and prepares you to act boldly. Every morning, declare gratitude not only for what you already possess, but for what you are becoming. Thank God for the success that is already on its way, for the strength you are developing, for the opportunities preparing themselves even now. In this way, gratitude becomes faith in action. Let us create a declaration for gratitude. Say it with me now. I am grateful for all I have and all I am becoming. My heart is full, my mind is open, my life is abundant. Write it down in your notebook. Speak it each morning until it becomes the very atmosphere of your soul. When doubt whispers, return to gratitude. When frustration rises, return to gratitude. When impatience gnaws, return to gratitude. This declaration will remind you that you already stand upon the fertile soil of abundance, and that more is growing because you have chosen to water it with gratitude. But do not let gratitude remain only in words. Let it show itself in action. A grateful man is generous, for he knows he has more than enough. A grateful man is patient, for he trusts that life unfolds in his favor. A grateful man is diligent, for he sees work not as drudgery but as opportunity. Begin in the morning with gratitude, and throughout the day let it shape your behavior. Smile more, give more, serve more, forgive more. Gratitude practiced in thought becomes gratitude embodied in action. And that action will return to you multiplied, because life reflects back the energy you project. Some may object and say, how can I be grateful when I lack so much, when I face challenges, debts, and setbacks? But this is precisely why gratitude is most powerful when practiced in difficulty. Anyone can give thanks when the harvest is plentiful, but the man who can give thanks when the field is bare is the man who calls the harvest to him. Gratitude is not ignoring reality, it is choosing to focus on the seed of possibility even in the midst of hardship. And when you focus on the seed, you water it. When you water it, it grows, and in time the harvest arrives. Gratitude is the key that unlocks the door between scarcity and abundance. Imagine 2 men waking to the same conditions, both with bills to pay, both with responsibilities pressing upon them. One grumbles, curses the day, and begins in bitterness. The other gives thanks for the chance to fight, for the strength still in his body, for the roof above his head. Though their conditions are the same, their outcomes will not be. One will attract more bitterness, the other more opportunity. One will shrink, the other will expand. That is the power of gratitude, and it is why you must train it each morning without fail. So tomorrow, when you awaken, take the time to feel gratitude. Write it, speak it, declare it. Say aloud, I am grateful for all I have and all I am becoming. My heart is full, my mind is open, my life is abundant. Let those words be the fragrance of your morning, the tone of your spirit, the light in your eyes. Carry gratitude into every task, every challenge, every interaction. And you will find that success is not something you chase, but something that flows naturally to the man who has trained his mind to be grateful every morning. When you begin to understand that the first hour of your morning sets the rhythm of your entire day, you start to see why so many drift aimlessly through life. They rise with no plan, no order, no clarity, and then they wonder why confusion and frustration seem to dominate their hours. But the person who disciplines his mornings disciplines his destiny. Every morning is a rehearsal for life itself. If you practice disorder, you will live in disorder. If you practice control, you will live in control. Think of it like a musician. No great symphony is performed without first tuning the instruments. The morning is your time of tuning. Your thoughts, your attitude, your intentions, they are the strings and keys of the instrument you play. If you neglect to tune them, every note of your day will be off. But when you rise and deliberately bring your thoughts into harmony with your vision, the music of your life plays true. This is why I encourage the practice of silence in the morning. Before the clamor of the world fills your ears, take a few minutes to sit quietly, breathe deeply, and let your mind settle. In that silence, ask yourself a simple question: what kind of person do I choose to be today? Not what must I do, not what must I get through, but what kind of person will I embody? For the truth is, your being determines your doing, and your doing determines your having. Too many people reverse the order. They focus on what they want to have, and they ignore who they must be. But the man who rises each morning and declares with clarity, "Today I will be disciplined, today I will be courageous, today I will be generous," has already won half the battle. His actions will flow naturally from that identity, and the results will follow. It is a law of life that your dominant thoughts become your reality. And the morning is when those dominant thoughts are most easily impressed upon the mind. The subconscious, still quiet from sleep, is open, ready to be guided. If you allow fear or worry to fill those early minutes, you program your day for failure before it even begins. But if you take that time to impress courage, gratitude, and vision, you program your day for victory. This is not theory. It is cause and effect. Just as you cannot plant corn and reap wheat, you cannot plant doubt and reap confidence. You cannot plant resentment and reap joy. You cannot plant confusion and reap clarity. What you sow, you will reap, and you sow first in the morning. A great tool to aid you in this practice is the written word. Keep a notebook or a small journal by your bedside. The moment you wake, take it in hand and write down the person you choose to be and the goal you are moving toward. Write it as though it were already achieved. For example, I am a disciplined and successful man, calm in thought, unwavering in purpose, achieving my goals with confidence and faith. Write it every day, even if it feels repetitive. That repetition is the very key that ingrains it into your subconscious. You are programming the most powerful computer ever created, your mind. And like any computer, it responds to consistent input. Garbage in, garbage out. Greatness in, greatness out. Some will dismiss this practice as too simple, too basic. But do not be deceived. The simple disciplines are the very ones that separate the successful from the unsuccessful. A man does not fail because he lacked opportunity or resources. He fails because he neglected the little things, the daily disciplines that shape the mind. Most people know what they should do, but they do not do it. And that is why the gap between knowing and doing becomes the chasm between success and failure. If you will only take 10 minutes each morning to write your declaration, to speak it aloud, to hold it in your mind, you will be astonished at how quickly your life begins to align with your vision. Let us establish a declaration for this part of your training. Say it aloud with me, slowly and with conviction. I am disciplined, focused, and guided by purpose. My mind is clear. My heart is strong, my actions are certain. Do not just whisper it. Say it with enough strength that your body feels the conviction of the words. Write it in your notebook. Repeat it tomorrow. This is how you begin to reprogram the subconscious mind, how you build the grooves of thought that will carry you forward like rails carry a train. It is not about sudden bursts of effort. It is about consistent daily training of thought. The world around you may be chaotic. You cannot control the storms of society, the actions of other people, or the randomness of circumstance. But you can always control your morning. That is your fortress, your sanctuary. Guard it jealously. Do not surrender it to idle scrolling, to meaningless chatter, to the noise of distraction. Use it to build yourself into the person who can meet any storm with calm, any challenge with courage, any setback with determination. When you own your morning, you own your life. Understand this: wealth, success, and greatness are not accidents. They are the result of compounded mornings, thousands of small victories at dawn that eventually culminate in mastery. Every successful man or woman you admire, every leader, every pioneer built their greatness on the foundation of disciplined mornings. They may not all have called it by that name, but in their own way, they each seized the morning as the decisive battle of the day. And because they won that battle again and again, they won the war of life. So tomorrow, when you awaken, do not think of yourself as merely rising from sleep. Think of yourself as stepping into command. You are the captain of your ship, the farmer of your field, the master of your destiny. Begin with silence, declare your identity, write your vision, and hold it firmly. Do this not once, but every morning until it becomes as natural as breathing. That is how the mind is trained. That is how success is built. And that is how you will come to embody the truth that has carried every man and woman of achievement throughout history. We become what we think about. Vision, once firmly established each morning, must be joined with action. For thought without action is like a map never used, a plan never executed, a seed never planted. Success does not reward those who only dream, but those who step forward and act upon their dreams. The morning is not merely a time for reflection, but a launch pad for decisive movement. After gratitude has lifted your heart, after focus has sharpened your aim, after vision has clarified your destination, you must then ask, what action will I take today that brings me closer to my worthy goal? Without this step, even the clearest vision fades into fantasy. But with it, even the smallest act becomes a brick in the edifice of success. Action does not need to be grand or dramatic. It needs to be consistent. The oak tree does not grow in a day. It grows because it is nourished daily. The fortunes of the successful are not won in a single leap. They are built brick by brick, step by step, act by act. Each morning, write down one clear action you will take toward your goal. Then do it. Do it whether you feel like it or not, whether circumstances seem favorable or not. The discipline of consistent action is what transforms men of vision into men of achievement. Without action, faith is empty. With action, even the smallest faith becomes powerful. But here is the truth. Many people never act because they wait for the perfect moment. They wait for the right mood, the right conditions, the right assurance of success. And so they wait their lives away. The successful man understands there is no perfect time. The perfect time is now. He trains himself each morning to act in spite of doubt, in spite of fear, in spite of imperfection. And because he acts, he learns. Because he learns, he grows. Because he grows, he succeeds. Life does not yield its treasures to the hesitant. It yields them to the decisive, to the one who steps forward when others hold back. Let us ingrain this law with a declaration. Say it with me. I act with courage and clarity each morning. My steps are bold, my will is strong, my results are certain. Write it in your journal. Speak it aloud with conviction. Let it remind you that you are not a passive observer of life, but an active creator. The world belongs to those who act. History remembers those who moved, who risked, who built, who dared. And every great builder, every pioneer, every leader began each day not only with thought but with action. Action also multiplies faith. When you take a step toward your goal, you prove to yourself that you are capable. Confidence is not given, it is earned by action. The timid man who never moves remains paralyzed, but the man who acts boldly, even in small things, builds a reservoir of confidence that carries him into larger victories. Each morning, when you complete the action you set for yourself, you are strengthening the very fabric of your character. You are becoming the kind of person who follows through, who does what he says, who can be trusted by himself and by others. That is a priceless reward, greater than any immediate result. Understand, too, that action creates momentum. Once the first step is taken, the second comes easier, the third easier still, until you are carried forward by the force of your own motion. The most difficult part is always the beginning. That is why the morning is so important. If you act in the morning, you have already overcome the hardest part. The rest of the day unfolds under the shadow of that victory. But if you fail to act in the morning, procrastination strengthens its grip, and the day is often lost before it truly begins. That is why success is not built in years, but in mornings. Action also reveals truth. You may not know the perfect plan, you may not see the entire path, but once you act, reality reveals itself. The man who waits until he knows every step never moves. The man who acts on the first step discovers the second. Life is not a map laid out in full, it is a road revealed one step at a time, and the morning is when you decide to take that step. Do not wait for certainty, create certainty by acting. Do not wait for the guarantee of success, create success by moving. So tomorrow when you awaken, after you have expressed gratitude, declared discipline, focused your mind, and envisioned your future, ask yourself, what action will I take today? Write it down, declare it aloud, then move upon it without hesitation. Say, I act with courage and clarity each morning. My steps are bold. My will is strong. My results are certain. Let those words guide your feet as surely as vision guides your eyes. And now, as we close this message, I challenge you to live what you have learned. Your mornings are sacred. Guard them, discipline them, fill them with gratitude, vision, focus, and action. For in the way you begin each day lies the seed of how you will live your life. Begin each morning with mastery of thought, mastery of word, mastery of vision, and mastery of deed. And remember always the law, we become what we think about. Write it, speak it, live it. Train your mind for success every morning, and success will, in time, become the natural rhythm of your days, the inevitable result of your disciplined life. Gratitude, when deeply practiced, naturally leads us to the next law of the morning: vision. For gratitude opens your eyes to what is, and vision opens your eyes to what can be. Every man and woman who has ever achieved greatness has been a visionary in some form. They held before their minds a clear picture of the life they were determined to create, and they nurtured that image each day until it took form in reality. Vision is the compass that keeps your steps aligned, the torch that lights your path, the anchor that steadies you when storms arise. Without vision, discipline becomes mechanical, focus becomes narrow, gratitude becomes shallow. Vision gives meaning to them all. And the morning is the time when vision must be renewed. For if you do not begin your day with a clear image of where you are going, you will spend your hours wandering in circles, busy but unfulfilled. Vision is not daydreaming, it is not idle fantasy, it is concentrated imagination directed toward a definite purpose. Every building you see, every invention you use, every advancement of society was once a vision in the mind of a man or woman who dared to believe it possible. They saw it first within before the world ever saw it without. That is the power you hold as well. Each morning as you rise, you must close your eyes and picture the life you are building. See yourself already there. Live it in your imagination until it feels more real than your current circumstances. This is not delusion. It is the very process by which the subconscious mind is trained to bring forth reality. You cannot consistently see one picture in your mind and live another. In time, life conforms to the dominant vision held before the mind. But vision must be specific. A vague hope produces vague results. A clear vision produces clear results. What is the goal you are pursuing? How do you see yourself living? What kind of person are you becoming? Do not leave the answers to chance. Write them out in detail. Describe your life in the present tense as though it were already accomplished. Each morning, read these words, speak them aloud, and see them in your mind's eye. This practice ingrains the vision into the subconscious, where it begins to guide your thoughts, decisions, and behaviors. The man who sees himself strong will act strong. The woman who sees herself prosperous will act prosperous. Life will always move in the direction of the dominant vision. Let us establish a declaration for vision. Speak it now. I see my future clearly. My vision is sharp. My purpose is certain. My destiny is assured. Write it in your notebook. Say it aloud each morning. As you repeat it, close your eyes and hold the image of your worthy goal as though you were living it now. Feel the emotions of its reality. Let your mind dwell on the details until they are etched into your imagination. This practice is not for a few days, it is for every day. Vision must be renewed daily, just as food must be eaten daily. Without it, the mind weakens, the will falters, and the spirit grows weary. But with it, you remain strong, persistent, and inspired. Vision is also protective. A man with no vision is easily swayed by circumstance, tempted by distraction, and defeated by setbacks. But a man with vision cannot be shaken, for he sees beyond the obstacle to the destination. He does not ask, "Why me?" He asks, "How can this serve the vision?" Every challenge becomes fuel, every failure a lesson, every delay a preparation. The clearer the vision, the less power difficulties have over you. That is why you must renew it every morning. You will meet resistance during the day, but if you begin with vision, you will not lose heart. Some will scoff and say vision is impractical, that one must deal only with hard facts. But the truth is that vision is the most practical tool you possess, for it governs those very facts. The man who envisions himself healthy begins to eat differently, train differently, rest differently. The man who envisions himself wealthy begins to save differently, invest differently, think differently. Vision shapes behavior, and behavior shapes destiny. The facts of your life tomorrow will be the fruit of the vision you hold today. Do not underestimate this law. There is a story of two men who walked through the same barren field. One saw only dirt, weeds, and toil. The other saw rows of golden wheat, a harvest ready to feed many. The first left discouraged. The second began to plan, to plant, to labor. Years later, the second man reaped a harvest, while the first still complained of barren fields. What was the difference? Vision. The same reality, two different minds, two entirely different futures, and so it will be with you. What you see each morning determines what you will live each year. So tomorrow, when you awaken, add this practice to your morning ritual. After you have written your gratitude, spoken your discipline, and set your focus, close your eyes and build your vision. Picture your goal clearly. See yourself already there. Say aloud, I see my future clearly. My vision is sharp, my purpose is certain, my destiny is assured. Let these words be the lens through which you see the day. Let your vision guide your choices, shape your behavior, and fuel your persistence. For the man who begins his mornings with vision will never live in confusion, and the one who holds his vision day after day will in time hold in his hands the very life he once only saw in his mind.